Okay, we're going to do a video of the Walt Disney's Goofy covers government on the TRS-80 color computer from beginning to end. Here we go.
Walt Disney Personal Computer Software presents Goofy Covers Government. The President's Job.
Gosh, Martha, it sure is swell of you to ask me to help you cover the Washington news today. Well, where are we off to?
We're on the way to a press conference, Goofy. Aren't you excited?
Well, I don't know. What's so exciting about pressing clothes?
Not that kind of press. The news press. This press conference is being given by the president.
Well, what's so special about that?
Everything. The president's job is one of the most important jobs in the whole world.
Golly! But are you sure I'll understand what's going on? I mean, what does the president have to do with a guy like me?
Everything. What the president does can affect all of us, even you. The president represents the interests of our whole nation, Goofy, a nation you are a part of.
What the President of the United States does.
It's important for all of us to be informed about what the president is doing so we can understand how well he's handling the job.
that so? Why are we stopping here?
We're picking up a photographer I know, Len Scap.
Hi there. Let me just hand you a few of my things. And a few more. So now, let's get going.
Goofy and I were just talking about the importance of the president's job.
Well, that's interesting. I happen to be taking pictures for a book about the president. It's amazing how many responsibilities come with the job. For instance, after a bill is passed by Congress, the president can either approve it, disapprove it and not sign it, or send it back to Congress for revisions.
After a bill is passed by Congress, the president can either
The president also proposes the budget, and that's not all. The president represents our nation in foreign affairs,
which is not a job of the president.
the president is commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and the president is also responsible for naming members of the cabinet and fulfilling openings on the Supreme Court.
Which is not a job of the president.
My gosh, the president does have one of the most important jobs in the world.
You can say that again.
Well, here we are. There's the White House.
Well, that's a good name for it. It sure is white, all right.
If you'll just give me a hand with some of my stuff.
Hurry up, you two.
But tell me, Mr. Scap, how exactly does someone get to be president?
Well, the Constitution says that to be elected president, a person must have been born in the United States, must be 35 years old or older, and must have lived in the United States for at least 14 years. A president may be elected for 2 terms. A term is 4 years long.
To be President of the United States, a person must How long can someone be President of the United States?
But how do the elections work?
Well, to begin with, the candidate for each political party campaigns. That is, he presents his views on important issues and tries to convince the public he's the best person for the job. Then, in November, the people vote for their presidential choice. Of course, they don't directly elect the president. This is done by a group of people from every state, called electors. These electors, in turn, cast their votes for the president and vice president. The candidate with the majority of electoral votes wins.
Hip, hip, hurrah.
Here we are. The president will be here soon.
You will? I can hardly wait. You know, Mr. Scap, the president's job is so big, I just don't see how anyone can handle it.
Well, of course, the president does have help. There are the cabinet members who advise and report to the president, such as the secretaries of state, defense, treasury, and education. Each secretary is responsible for a different department in the government.
What do the cabinet members do?
For instance, the Department of State carries out the president's wishes that have to do with other countries, and the Department of Labor handles the problems of the working people. course, there's the vice president who leads the Senate. And if the president becomes ill or dies, the vice president takes over and becomes president.
Which is not a duty of the vice president.
Now, let's see. Where can I get the best camera angle? I think I can get the perfect shot from up here. Now, if you just hand me my equipment.
Can you tell me one more thing, Mr. Scap? With all those powers, is there anything the president can't do?
Yes, there are limits on what the president can do, Goofy. Let me show you. The Constitution sets up a system of checks and balances to make sure the president doesn't become too powerful.
The Constitution set up a system of checks and balances.
For instance, even if the president signs a law, if that law is challenged, the Supreme Court could declare it unconstitutional.
The Supreme Court has the power to
Although the president has the power to veto a bill, that is, to reject it, Congress can override the veto and make the bill a law if 2/3 of the members vote for it.
Does Congress have the power to create a law even if the president disapproves it?
And even though the president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, only Congress can declare war.
Can the president declare war upon another nation?
And if the president ever breaks the law, he can be impeached and possibly removed from office.
What happens if the president breaks the law?
Golly, The people who wrote the Constitution sure had some good ideas about how a president's job should be set up. I mean, now I know just how important that job is.
Well, that's true, Goofy. I mean, when you think about it, no other person represents the interests of our whole country as much as the president does. And now, if you could just give me a hand down.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Scat. I can't help you now. The press conference is about to start. Time for me to pay attention. I mean, I still have a lot more to learn. After all, I need to know more about the...
The President of the United States.
The role of the president is to